Welcome to this case study presentation with Planit and Indue regarding quality engineering transformations. My name is Laura Johnson and I'm a customer solution architect with Planit, helping clients, including Indue, create fit-for-purpose solutions that meet both technical and business goals. As Indue embarks on a rigorous new phase of technical development in line with the highly regulated new payments platform and CPS 234, they identified the need to adopt a DevOps model of working and with it a more collaborative quality engineering culture. It is my great pleasure to introduce their Head of Quality Assurance, Kimberlea Dudley. Kimberlea is a senior delivery manager with over 20 years of experience in the financial services. This includes significant work in large-scale software and infrastructure program, including CBA's core banking program, and more recently, NPP, PayTo, PayID at Indue. Kimberlea is a passionate people leader who works to ensure her team has skills and growth opportunities to meet current and future program delivery goals. Her focus is transforming Indue's delivery function to move from the mindset of quality control to one of quality engineering and assuring continuous quality. Welcome, Kimberlea.
Thanks, Laura. I'll give you a bit of an oversight in regards to Indue. Indue, we're a small organisation, a B2B payment provider, who we predominantly give our services to the mutuals and the credit union space, tier 2 banks and small organisations. Our foundations are almost 60 years ago was purely in the pure banking operational space to our owners, which are made up of 17 mutuals. But we've, in the last 15 years, moved more into technology services, and we now build our own software and underlying infrastructure in payments platforms. So today we now offer full payment services across all of the predominantly known payment platforms. Mobile banking, we have an industry leading full end-to-end fraud and AML detection service via our Orion platform. We're in the card processing platforms for both debit, credit and prepaid card solutions. We offer traditional payment services such as DE and BPay. And I do note we were one of the 12 foundation members in the initial implementation of NPP, the NPP PayTo program in 2017, offering the services to our clients. And we're now in the final throes of our NPP PayTo services as well. Our vision is really to be a leading partner of payment solutions to our customers and overall just help customers, the customers of our clients, make payments. We're Australian owned and operated with resources primarily located across our Sydney and Brisbane offices, but we do support locations around Australia. From a delivery point of view, we focus on software and hardware type of projects, and we've also recently moved a small element of our team in using augmented resources into the offshore space, but specifically in the development and the QA space.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that overview. I certainly didn't know that how long-standing Indue was, and I worked in the payment space. We overlapped a little, I think. With such strongly regulated and compliance-driven industry, why have you decided at this moment now to embark on your QE journey?
Great question, Laura. I don't see Indue in this space. Indue delivery is unique at all, and the pain points that we have are not even specific to the payments domain. First and foremost, I think one of the reasons we moved into quality engineering was to address staff attrition and boost employee engagement, specifically around some feedback in regards to the currency of our work processes and toolings. Our people resources are really looking for organisations to promote current ways of working and tooling to support quality assurance execution and reporting to be able to drive metrics. You'll know of the great resignation that's taking place at the moment and the war on talent. And so we need to make sure that we differentiate ourselves on culture and processes as much as possible. Secondly, through our DevOps program, we've been running for about 3 years now. We've been looking to really update our ways of working across delivery. We build our software in an agile way, but we deliver our solutions to our clients in a more traditional iterative methodology. Our previous approach to build was really more aligned to the Scrum methodology. We're just developers and testers for software, but we're now moving towards more cross-functional teams with the presence of all parts of the organisation bringing into those squads. And we're bringing basically more ownership to the end, to our solutions, and bringing the overall end-to-end delivery. We're even at the moment introducing that way of working into our infrastructure team, and with a lens on quality as well. So by bringing consistency across the landscape, we find that team members are more invested in ensuring quality end-to-end. We still have a way to go with our DevOps program. We're around 3 years to go to fully implement all parts of automation and the CI/CD framework into all parts of our organisation. But also the use of enhanced metrics that can really show and measure our level of success. I'd say collaboration, guys, is the key. We're removing silos between project delivery and operational teams, which isn't unique to both a small or large organisation. I'm sure you all have those sort of pain points as well. So with a greater focus, working with our risk and security teams throughout the life cycle, we've been able to see quality indicators being called out early on in the process, and really giving a focus on things like risk and security at this time. The last real pain point specifically is really compliance. Indue is an ADI, we hold a banking license, and so therefore we're governed by APRA. And that brings a level of compliance which is really quite high. 2019, APRA introduced CPS 234, which some of you may be familiar with. And it's about mandatory information security regulation across the banking industry. So it's actually seen an increased focus on our framework and processes and being safe and secure, and making sure that quality indicators are actually called out through our framework. This also obviously benefits our clients as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kimberlea. As you said, these pain points aren't necessarily unique to a specific domain in IT generally, and it certainly resonates very much with the companies I've been working with. We've both been working test QA, QE domain for a long time, and I think we have done, and we could probably continue to talk for a solid hour on the differences. But could you explain your approach to how you describe the difference between quality control, assurance testing engineers to your stakeholders, and maybe even to your own quality team?
Great question. I think it really, that move from traditional testing into quality engineering all starts with the NOM culture. Moving the terminology that we have away from testing into quality. And it requires buy-in from our senior stakeholders we need to move from that traditional discussion around testing and quality control, which is, just finding defects and bugs as the sole responsibility for the team, but moving more towards processes and procedures that engage a quality team as early as possible in the delivery life cycle. No more should we be seen as the phased delivery that comes at the end of the project to test a solution and find bugs, but rather ensure that we've got a quality view and processes throughout the whole life cycle. But the mindset change also comes to our team members as well. Changing their mindset from just being pure testing to more of a quality engineer, and empowering them and giving them a voice to raise, outside of just raising bugs, to actually have quality discussions with team members at every element.
It's a very interesting approach, and it's definitely one I favour this collaboration, community, culture driven, especially when you're taking your DevOps journey in such a structured, steady way. You've been working now for Indue for about 7 years, but before this, you were with a large banking corporation, and it's vastly different structured organisation. And so, how is your approach to QA QE uplift differing in Indue than it was when you were in a much larger multi-business organisation?
Laura, my previous organisation had a QA team of over 500 test professionals, with even a dedicated team who worked on just processes, templates and tooling. When I started at Indue, my team was just 5 resources with a lens purely on quality control and traditional testing. And we've since grown the team to around 20 resources over the past 5 years. What I found in my transition from a large organisation to a much smaller one is that what we were missing was like a community of QA professionals to share ideas with, discuss other things happening in the industry that would keep us current. I'd actually worked with Planit previously for augmented resource requirements. So I started the engagement with Planit in that space, and also to provide training provider as well. But we've since grown into being more of a consultancy view to help us to continue in that quality assurance, quality engineering journey, and to keep us current and actually provide a level of expertise about what is happening in the industry as a whole.
Yeah. There's definitely a distinct difference between the different quality coverages. So how do you think that your approach to QE is contributing to the success of your current projects and actually your ongoing projects? What activities or behaviours are you using at the moment?
The current program I'd like to call out that we've referred to is that we've really been able to apply quality engineering practices into the whole landscape is the NPP PayTo program. Indue expect to be live with the platform in early 2023, and we've been engaged since inception on that program. The QA team has been included in very early in the requirements and gathering space. We were instrumental in building the business case. We completed overall the risk assessment, vendor selection, vendor contract reviews. And that was to ensure all of our contracts had the relevant quality lens applied to them and keeping vendors accountable to what we expect in regards to quality throughout the life cycle. The team has been heavily involved through design and build, and we've down to POC tooling as we've been implementing new technology in this space. And we apply a BDD methodology to the way that we build the platform and a heavy focus on automation of all parts of that solution. We applied static testing methods to both our functional and non-functional requirements review. And we commenced really early engagement with our vendors and clients where we've been able to execute as much as possible testing in an iterative way as solutions become ready, and not leaving things traditionally as we would normally do right to the end. There's been a real shift left mindset, which is a term that you may all know, in regards to quality and being as much as possible to the beginning of the life cycle. And we've got the whole shift left mindset has a real strong buy-in from our project sponsor, who is together with us on this journey to make sure that we are, we're not leaving things right to the last minute as traditional testing may happen. The QA team we've got SMEs within the NPP space. So with understanding the scheme requirements that we have for the PayTo program has actually meant that our knowledgeable QA team members have been instrumental in bringing some of that knowledge into the team as well. We're at the moment in the throes of finalising our build, and we're into the more traditional testing phases as we get ready for our implementation. And what we're finding is, as we're preparing for our implementation, we're also applying some of those behaviours into implementation readiness. We are looking to use our metrics and monitoring throughout even the installation of the solution, and we'll be looking to actually continue on the QE journey, not just through the traditional test phases, but also gathering those metrics and feedback through our release cycle.
Yeah, the QE practices on a page that we can see does appear to be quite linear, but as you've just described, it's not actually aligned to a project methodology or a delivery model. And I think your discussion there really highlights that quality engineering is it's a very holistic approach that embraces this DevOps and Agile journey, as well as can be applicable to very highly regulated and compliance driven. We've both been working in the industry for long enough now to know that culture-led transformations, as we've been discussing, have their own minor pain points and tweaks. What have you noticed with your current uplift activities, and what advice would you give yourself if you had to go back to the start again?
I think one of my earlier points, Laura, has been, you can't do this alone. And it really is about finding the right partner, and I've been very successful with Planit in regards to creating a community and collaborating with not just internal stakeholders, but people within the industry to share ideas with, so you can really make sure that you are applying best practice, right sizing it to your organisation, but making sure that you're open to understanding what is happening within the industry and applying that back to us.
Yes, wonderful. I think we're about due for time now. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today about your journey into QE from quality control at Indue. I have one final question though. We've mentioned a lot about culture and collaboration and community. What's next on your list? What's your next big initiative in your quality journey?
At the moment, it really is the final push in regards to the currency of our tooling within the quality the solution delivery space. So that brings to us key feedback from our employees that they want to make sure that they're using the updated tooling, and so we're just working through the operationalization as well as the implementation of people know as the Jira and Confluence suite into our ways of working, and with a drive to actually be able to create better reporting for our team members and our stakeholders. Wonderful.
It sounds so interesting, and very exciting times ahead for you. Thank you very much for chatting to me. This has been a wonderful discussion and presentation by yourself. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks, Laura.